River Thames below Oxford has a very gentle beauty. From Abingdon to Wallingford there are long reaches, mirroring green banks and trees, where the stillness is broken only by the occasional river launch. Below Wallingford, the countryside is more varied. Hills and woods extend to the water's edge. Attractive inns and picturesque locks enhance the natural beauty. Abingdon, a town on the curve of the river, is seen here from Burford Bridge. The town, once Berkshire's county town, has one of the most magnificent guild halls in the country. One of Abingdon's ancient churches is the riverside church of St. Helen. On the Thames, a few miles below Abingdon, is an avenue of old elms, leading to the Saxon village of Sutton Courtenay. Here, a long row of cottages and houses, where the monks from Abingdon Abbey used to convalesce, and beyond, a great open green. The church, sheltered by 4 limes, is Norman, with a 16th century brick porch. An unusual feature is the one-handed clock on its tower. The village of Long Whittenham, as its name implies, is long. Its street ruling a straight line by the curve of the Thames. At one end of the street is a little house with an overhanging story, and at the other end the village cross on ancient steps. road leads down a beautiful stretch of the Thames and crosses the river into Oxfordshire by a bridge of 6 arches. By the bridge is the Barley Mow, near where Jerome K. Jerome's 3 men in a boat camped. It is, without exception, I should say, the quaintest, most old-world inn up the river. It stands on the right of the bridge, quite away from the village. Its low pitched gables, thatched roof and lattice windows give it quite a storybook appearance. A short walk along the towpath is rewarded with some lochside activity on this hot August afternoon. Dorchester is entered by crossing this bridge over the River Thames near its junction with the Thames. The junction can be seen here. The Thames is to the left of the picture. There is a wealth of old houses and cottages along the old High Street, which is now the main road from Henley to Oxford. The late Norman Abbey, 200 feet long, is one of the most splendid buildings in the Thames Valley. The style of the building is decorated, and medieval miracle plays are sometimes acted here. At the rear are some well-tended gardens. In the holiday season, many boats pass under Wallingford Bridge, whose foundations supporting the 17 arches were here before King John set his seal to Magna Carta. The bridge has often been widened, but it remains the most memorable sight in busy Wallingford. The town is today a riverside resort with bathing and paddling pools. Elm is a small village where Henry VIII spent his honeymoon with Catherine Howard. The church is well preserved, perpendicular building, and contains the 15th century tomb of Alice, Duchess of Suffolk. The tomb is a fine example of medieval craftsmanship. Jerome K. Jerome and his wife Etty are buried here in the churchyard. The pre-Reformation almshouses survive, and below them is one of the oldest schools in the country, in use since 1437. It tells its own age in the timber roof and carved shields and heads. Elm is a model village in its time. It has a clear stream packed with watercress alongside the main road. This popular hostelry, the Swan at Streatley, was owned by Danny LaRue. The Thames is seen again at Whitchurch, a village sheltered by the wooded Chiltern Hills. Its church has been renovated with something from many centuries. A Tudor archway has a stone angel at each side, and above is a tiny 14th century panel of the crucifixion. The 17th century almshouses are the first buildings seen on arrival at Maple Durham. They're near the fine 16th century Tudor mansion. This tiny village, surrounded by fields bisected with the Thames, was the home of Soames Forsyth, the principal character in John Galsworthy's Forsyth saga. Further down the river is Pangbourne, close to Reading. It is a clean town which has not been improved by the traffic which streams along the Reading Road. By the Thames is the Swan Hotel, where the heroes of Three Men in a Boat stayed, and they must have cast a glance at the river, which cascades over a weir. Kenneth Graham, who wrote The Wind in the Willows, lived and died here, overlooking the Thames, which is still as tranquil as when E.H. Shepard illustrated his book. The Thames between Abingdon and Pangbourne is not only picturesque, but it has on its banks diverse towns and villages of both historic and literary interest, waiting for those with an inquiring mind to visit.